I have been studying Israeli art for some years, examining the intersections between art, Judaism, and religion, including art created in the religious Jewish societies. During my research, I came to realize that feminist women artists, especially religious feminist artists, have created the majority of the most interesting critical works in the Jewish world. In 2012, I co-curated with Dvora Lis Matronita, Jewish feminist art, showing a broad view of feminist works by women who are working and creating within Jewish religious traditional spaces. The exhibition brought together artists who until that point did not know each other and did not know each other's work, and thus played a role in contributing to the evolution of the emerging Jewish religious feminist art movement. The exhibition was received very well, and for me underscored the importance of religious feminist activity in the art world. This led me to focus my study on several prominent Israeli and American women artists who criticized the Jewish religious texts, rituals, and establishments. I mostly, in my PhD dissertation, I mostly dealt with reception of this art, not just reception in the art world, but also the reception of the art in religious communities, trying to understand how does this art actually work within society, and what sort of discussions it creates, and how does it, through these discussions, bring actually change. The religious text is the subject of the work of Helena Yalon, who marked problematic biblical passages with a pink highlighter, and Nechama Golan, an Israeli artist whose work is critical of the Talmudic debates over women as property in the contraction of marriage, Kiddushin. Nurit Yacob Zinon and Hila Karbelnikov-Paz confront the religious establishment, and in particular, the exclusion of women from serving as religious court judges. The work of Andy Arnowitz points up, among other subjects, the pornographic dimensions of the extreme modesty laws as interpreted by contemporary rabbis. And Chagit Mulgan demonstrates the male structure of the religious laws regarding menstruation, and Meryl Lederman-Eucalis breached as early as the 70s the religious taboo by presenting women's ritual immersion as a dignified ritual to be embraced. The combined study of Jewish-themed feminist art created in the United States and in Israel, and the comparison of these artists with other feminist artists, both Jewish and non-Jewish, illuminates local contexts, similarities, and differences in the development of Jewish feminist art in Israel and in the United States, and the influences of globalization, diasporism, and immigration on the art. I find that the parallel preoccupation in the various Jewish diasporas creates a discourse of global feminism, of global Jewish feminist art, in which the various spheres, Israel and the United States, stand as multi-party diasporic spaces for each other. In this sense, I hope that the current conference, while focusing on American Jewish feminist art, will offer a broad view for understanding Jewish diasporas and the global sphere of Jewish feminist art discourses, without erasing the specificity and the uniqueness of each artist and work in time and place. Here at the Yale Institute of Sacred Music, I am currently at work on a book project entitled Liberating Body, Earth, and God, Helena Yalon's Jewish Feminist Art in the United States. Its main contribution will be the analysis of the social and cultural significance of Eilon's feminist art and the charting of a broad theoretical framework for understanding a branch of contemporary art that offers a feminist critique of the Jewish world, its rituals and institutions, a topic that has not been extensively researched until now. In the seminar I'm co-leading with Professor Olin here at Yale, we with our wonderful students, some of them are here, looking at the work of Jewish feminist artists who serve as central voices in the feminist art movement in the past, and at contemporary Jewish feminist art from an intersectional approach that considers multiple and overlapping identity categories. We are trying to think in new and critical ways Jewish feminist art, and in this context, I am sure that bringing here together leading scholars to examine the field of Jewish American feminist art will add new perspectives to our discussion. So, first of all, I want to thank you all for participating in this symposium. In the end of the 80s, Helena Yalon and Mary Lederman-Euclid offered a critical discussion about the Jewish worlds by performing 4 questions at the Jewish Museum, New York. For Lederman-Euclid, who's best known for her canonical maintenance art, it was a continuation of a Jewish-themed feminist art starting in the 70s. For Eilon, it was the beginning of an ongoing project which offered a GAD project which offered a feminist critique of the Jewish worlds. I find also some, or actually a lot of connections between the art. I just brought here one example of erasing as actually marking something or a situation where Mary Lederman-Euclid invited her audience to erase all the terrible words that sanitation workers were called. This is actually Helena Yalon performing in Mary Lederman-Euclid's performance. And Helena Yalon herself is trying to erase all the terrible words attributed to God in the Bible, but not really succeeding to do so. So Helen and Meryl, it's really wonderful having you here, and it's an honor. Thank you. I am really grateful to Martin Jean, director of the Yale Institute of Sacred Music, Evan Graves, program manager and fellow coordinator, who a lot of you in this point know, and the Institute events coordinator, Ray Vogel, for making this conference happen. And thanks also Sachin, who's sitting here in the back. Before we